All right, it's 6 o'clock. Call the order and open the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you have a roll call, please.
Haslam,
Present.
Horn,
Yeah.
Underwood is absent, confused, Gilman,
Here.
Lehman.
Here. Okay. Approval of agendas.
I move to approve the agenda as amended with the addition of a new item F, which is the letter of support and local cost share commitment for Garfield Township's FEMA flood mitigation assistance program scoping grant application for Northern Landing, with the rest of the agenda to follow and see.
Support.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Conflict of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest? Okay. Public comment. Is there any public that wants to comment right now?
Any person may make an advanced appointment with the board regarding road commission topics for a regular or special meeting in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. If an appointment is made, the topic will be an agenda item. The following applies to public comments. Please state his or her name and township or district. Topic must be relevant to the road commission. Individuals are allowed to speak once for up to 3 minutes on a single topic, which may be extended by the chair. A group addressing the board requires a designated spokesperson who may speak up to 10 minutes. Board will not act on any item from the public that is not on the agenda.
Okay. Commissioner Smith?
Good evening, and thank you for your service to our community. I just wanted to start off the meeting, hopefully with a little bit of good news. Today I was notified by staff of Representative Jack Bergman that House Resolution 9497 is passed out of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee for the U.S. House of Representatives to go to the House for consideration. Representative Bergman, Congressman Bergman, did insert 2 projects at my suggestion into that bill, and they are part of the bill. One project, this bill, I should say, is the bill that funds the Army Corps of Engineers. It's the Water Resources Development Act reauthorization bill. That's a long-standing bill that gets reauthorized about every 3 years. And if a project is not on the list, passed by the House and Senate, it cannot be a project that the Corps of Engineers works on. The 2 projects are subtitled as Traverse City flooding and Peninsula Township erosion and slope stability. And so those are teed up potentially for future Corps of Engineer projects. And I just want to pass that along to you. The Corps of Engineers can take these up. I will just read very quickly from section of the bill. Section 402, expedited completion of projects and activities. The Secretary of the Army shall, to the maximum extent practicable, expedite the completion of the following projects. And the list includes 1, projects for emergency street bank erosion and shoreline protection under Section 14 of the Flood Control Act of 1946. Item E, Old Mission Peninsula, Michigan. So I think it's very good news for our community. It was, in my opinion, needed as there didn't seem to be any other funding sources available to deal with the roads that are vulnerable on that very unique peninsula. And I just want to share that with you. The current schedule for the second session of the 119th Congress won't have them possibly looking at this until September or maybe November, but I did subscribe to all notifications that we're late with this bill and I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Thanks.
What's
Thanks.
the scope of how many projects are on something like this? I don't know how to understand it. It's like all 50 states, their representatives throw in some projects kind of thing? Okay,
I wouldn't categorize it as an earmark, but it's close.
okay,
They're nominated by, obviously they're put in the bill by congressmen.
okay.
Congressmen are stimulated by their constituents, and I did some stimulating.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's great.
I'll keep you posted.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and I think again, with the shortfalls in funding, we need to be asking what chance we get. Those folks work for us. And I think they want to help us, but they can't unless they know.
Now, is there an amount yet appropriated for this?
No,
project?
it's not an appropriation. It is direction to the Secretary of the Army that this is a project that they have to address. They're subject to appropriation. And with funding request in a budget or appropriation bill, that secretary needs to ask for the money.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
They can't ask for the money unless it's part of the project.
Sure.
Right.
Okay, that's the Water Resources Development Act.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It was, I will say for Congressman, he was the first one to show up here. Right. Sure, disaster related. It was quite interested and engaging, certainly. Right. How about the consent calendar? Because we haven't used that.
The consent calendar is used to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together without discussion. Requests by any person present to remove any item from the consent calendar for full discussion as an agenda item are automatically respected. The action noted in parentheses for all items remaining on the consent calendar are approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. The manager recommends the following items be adopted. 1, minutes, 2, payroll, 3, accounts payable, 4, financial reports, and 5, communications.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support?
Okay. Motion made, support. Is there any further discussion? All right. Let's have a roll call then.
Corn,
Yes.
Underwood, absent, Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. How about the manager's report and staff report D?
For me, a couple things I wanted to bring up was one to see if we do a special meeting in the near future here. That's for the signals on Hammond. Maybe to get those approved, keep that project moving on time. Had a meeting this week with East Bay Township and with the trails there, so Hammond Road, we're ready to go on that. The Safe Routes to School trail are putting a 10-foot asphalt path through there. There's utilities in the way, so we have to wait for those utilities to get out of the way so we can start the road project. So we're hoping to tie the signal in at the same time. Signal's not holding the project up. It's freestanding, but we'd like to try to get this all broken in one shot because they're also using some signal companies for moving utilities and stuff like that. So we're hoping to package that all together.
So just as a matter of practice, we make the utilities get their stuff out of the way. But do we then issue permits for making them get their stuff out of the way?
The road commission made sure the utilities were out of the way for the road project when we were all set, but the trails did not make sure all the utilities were out of the way of their project.
Okay.
So then the utilities are not interfering with our project.
Got it.
They're putting a 10-foot path in there. They're getting them some.
Is that where we walk the day we look at the guardrail thing, or that not in that area, Dan?
Just across the road in Folsom's parking lot through there. I think there's a lot, some power poles in there, I want to say it's like a wall or like a big sign, something is in there. That's kind of holding us up.
And the special meeting is to,
The special meeting would be to get the signal, we'll have the signal date come back in and we'd like to try to get that approved, keep this project moving.
What day are you accepting bids on the signal, and what would you like for the special meeting?
29.
29th. It comes in
Yeah, it comes in at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock on the 29th.
So, we'd like to do them at night. What would you like?
Whatever works for everybody. I will say that this would be my second comment. Gonna take a vacation here. I'll be gone from July 2nd through the 7th.
July.
In August, be July.
Time travel.
August.
So cool.
Yep, sorry.
Go ahead, Jane.
The August 29th is, did you say August 29th?
July
Oh,
29th.
July.
And that's when the bids come in.
That's when they come in.
And how soon could a meeting be held after the bids come in?
That night, right?
I mean, I'm free that night.
Does he want, will they want time to evaluate them?
Oh, I did.
We could
I'm
probably,
not free that night, but it's okay.
if we had a couple hours, we could probably cram something out. Would be enjoyable, but
Well, no sense of rushing. I mean,
No.
if we can do it Thursday, I don't, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter. I don't know about everybody else.
Monday or,
We just need 3 people, right?
Yeah.
I am not available Wednesday or Thursday night, but that's fine. If it's just me, there's still 4 people. So
I'm off that following week, but Neil will be here and I can handle
I
it.
think 3 people.
what do you like, sir?
Is the approval of the contract for signals, is that dependent upon start of the construction project for Hammond? Is that what you would like to have? Is that holding it? Because that was going to be one of my questions is when does the construction work start on Hammond? So are you waiting for the
No,
signal bid to come
it's
in?
not gonna hold the signal project up from starting. Staff is just concerned that we don't want it holding it up on the back end. We want to get it approved and we're trying to tie it in with other. There's like 4 separate projects going on in that
I
intersection.
think it'd be good if we have the whole board here, honestly, for just, and only because I really want to see more discussion on these signals.
We also tied the signal that we did not approve down here on Keystone to see if we tied those 2 together. And because
Oh,
The
the
globalization rate, what,
the trails are also putting in those signals for crosswalks and stuff. So we're thinking if they're all out at the same time, then maybe somebody will try to grab a hold of it and get the best price.
package.
But are they separate bid items still?
Separate bid items, but we're all at the same
All
time.
do it at
Hoping
the same
somebody will be
time.
like, hey, if I come up in the area, I know I got 4 projects that I can do with one shot.
It's actually,
did it get bid out in that way as one project?
No, they're bid out as separate projects, but we got them at the same time.
So we get all those bids.
so it shows up like
29.
in the my bid thing all at once.
Yes.
And then people say, hey, I can do both of those and
You
then
get-
go low on both, maybe.
Yeah, and then there's also the trails has stuff out too, so. It'd be the same people
Right.
essentially bidding on it, so. It might be an appealing package if you had
Right.
all those things.
I could come in at 5 on Thursday. I'm just busy after 6. If that
It-
matters.
it's-
Otherwise, I don't know that you
We
need
have
me.
company
but-
that week too. You guys. I don't think we need everyone.
I don't.
Yeah, we can
Maybe the only
have a
person
more
shows up.
discussion on
Yeah.
the signals at another time.
Yeah, I don't-
If we're just gonna approve the bids, I think we
Yeah.
can just come in.
So both days I have something at.
Just come in
I'm happy to
Monday or
come in for a
just-
quick
we come in
meeting.
the following Monday. We're not gonna be
I
that second.
unfortunately work.
If you're comfortable with Neil leading team this off, can we schedule for Monday night,
So it's the 3rd.
August 3rd,
6,
August 6th?
or no, that's 6.
Yes, August 3rd. At 6
PM.
p.m.
Especially.
Monday, August 3rd.
Does that sound okay, everybody? All right, that's what we'll do.
That's all I had for tonight.
When is the Hammond Road project slated to begin the construction? Is there a date?
It should have already begun.
Has it begun?
It has not.
So when is it supposed to be done?
We don't know at this time. We're hopeful any day.
Are they doing a construction?
We're waiting on utilities to get stuff out of the way. So the trail, because it's 10 feet wide, and our project, we're sharing water drainage structures. So you can't start one without the other.
Right.
they were behind on their bidding for the trail project or
They,
something?
they
along
were
those
tied
lines?
up with the same, it's a Fed Aid project, they were tied up with Whitener, one that we were in, so they were being held up the same we were being held up with Whitener.
Who, the contractor?
East Bay Township.
East Bay
forgetting that. Yeah,
Township.
they are waiting for the approval, just like we were waiting for Whitener, they were waiting for approval. It was on the same letting, the whole.
Is that East Bay Township?
Either is East Bay?
No, but
No,
we're on the same letting on
Oh,
John.
okay, I was
Yeah,
so
I knew there was
confused. I was
something
like,
it
what?
was tied to.
Whitener Bridge and East Bay's trail project were both down
Got it.
at MDOT for the same Fed Aid sled.
Okay.
And heaven forbid they try to do too much at once, right?
But they have a winner. That was Elmer's, right? I mean, was that?
Elmer's got the whole complete project, yes. I mean, Elmer's is ready to go. We just need those, yeah, they're throwing their schedule off, I know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I also have a question on your staff report. Can you give an update on, the talks to extend the contract on Cass Road from Robbins Bridge to Hartman?
Yes.
Where does that discussion?
Yep, staff has reached out and we can extend that into 2027. We've sent out that we would like to do that. We're waiting for a response. But we were told that, yes, it's fine to do that.
We're not
We're
gonna
just
be penalized
It's
because
the formalities of the paperwork going back and forth now, but we're not gonna be penalized. The project's gonna move forward. It's fine to do it. It's just the signing of the documents and all that stuff.
And with the, in terms of the contractor, is the cost of the project going to be affected or is it going to stay the same?
As of right now, it stays the same, but I mean, like asphalt prices shot super crazy. I'm sure there's some loopholes in there, I would guess, but as of right now, that's our understanding of the project costs are gonna stay the same.
Is that Elmer's?
It is Elmer's.
The Cedar Run, project, HMA, it said there was a delay in obligation due to a new A-cup boundary. Can you explain what that delay was?
Yeah, so that project, obviously, they're a couple of years out when you're dealing with Fed aids. The MPO was not in place for that being the A cup. So we had that funding that was dedicated was for that whole stretch of Cedar Run. Well, when the MPO said that's going to be part of the A cup now, well, that took out barely ended any of it. And now they're flagging that saying like, well, that's two different funding sources. And they're not releasing the funding for all that. So now it's paperwork games.
Who's they? The MPO?
No, this is Fed aid.
Fed Aid. okay.
Saying that, there's different funding sources involved now, so they're making us jump through hoops and delaying the project. So,
Was it supposed to start this year?
yes, it should have been done this year. That's gonna get pushed to 27 because it's getting hung up again,
Okay. All right.
which is weird because the money was allocated at the time when it wasn't
There was no MPO.
separate, but now they're saying, hey, this is, and it's not, it's a small, I wish I could remember the portion of it, but I'm gonna say it's a very small portion of the project that's into that section of road. And it just messed the whole thing up.
All right, thanks.
Anything else for Dean? Right, commissioners, comments? Or, all right.
Blair Township, I wanted to thank Chris Elliott for taking the time to come out. And explain to the Blair Township Board and the residents that were in the audience, about the Silver Lake Road project this year. It stops at, is it called Rennie School? I think it stops at Rennie
Right.
School at the boundary of Blair and Garfield, and Blair didn't quite understand why they didn't just go another mile, to the highway there. So Chris came and explained it to the board. They totally understood it. I think everyone really appreciated it. He did a good job giving them data so that when residents contact the board, they'll be able to do that. And it just so happened that there was a public hearing that night and the people from the homeowners association right in that subdivision right there on Silver Lake and Blair, they were all there and got to hear the explanation as well. And we're able to ask him a few questions and kind of go back and forth and he filled them in. And I just wanted to thank Chris for that. It was really valuable. And I know that the township appreciated that. And the other thing is DTE reached out to me because they had helped give a donation to me for the staff luncheon we had after the storm. And they had extra vouchers for Pitts Fitters tickets for our crew. So I was able to get them and deliver them to Dan and they're going to crew members. So I just wanted to thank DTE because out of the blue, they just contacted me when they had something extra in the office and I thought that was really nice and they just wanted to give a thank you to the crew. What's that?
Commissioner Gilman?
I think anything that I have is going to be, in our next item, and we're gonna be discussing policy with any seriousness.
And I don't have anything. Oh, I should report on the steering committee. We've met 3 times. Next week is the big meeting where all the professionals are being invited and stakeholders and everybody else. We invited 50 some, quite a few positive responses. We're going to work toward, continue meeting and see where we invited everybody in one group, and whether they split into subgroups or do the work together, I think is yet to be determined. Would you say that's kind of what we talked about?
Yep.
And got quite a few nice comments and responses. And Maxwell Cameron is in the audience, has been helping coordinate that for the steering committee. He's met with us before. And that's what I have for that.
Where are you meeting at? Any people?
Garfield Township Hall.
Okay.
Garfield has volunteered for the little committee
Yeah.
room, which is Chuck's old office.
I know. I love that. It is.
And then the bigger groups, when we meet, we're going to meet upstairs, and they have a third meeting
Okay,
room
perfect.
somewhere that is suitable if we have.
So you don't have any issue if extra people show up that are part of these groups?
No, if there's, I don't know, how many is there room for Garfield upstairs? It's 100 room. It's big,
Yeah,
at least 100.
and there shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's so much.
Okay,
I'm
so,
just picturing it here.
oh,
You're like 50 some odd, we're in, but
yeah, I can, we'd be in the truck barn. Well, we've talked about it. It's not a great meeting room to begin with. That doesn't do well with large crowds for sure. Okay, the next item is letter F, support of the cost sharing agreement. I got a call today. And Dan did also, and he called me and he put this on the agenda for discussion. I think maybe I would have Maxwell explain it because he was made the call and knows more about this than I do. Are you prepared? Do you want to speak to us? Sure. To the podium and talk to us about it, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Maxwell Cameron. I am the Community Development Coordinator for Grand Traverse County. And as Chairman Lehman indicated, there is a request related to a grant application for project scoping that Garfield Township is going to be submitting for Logan Landing South Airport Road crossing. And this is a grant opportunity that we came upon a number of weeks ago. The county, we took a look at it, brought it to the steering committee. There was interest in moving forward with pursuing a letter of intent. We were successful in getting Michigan State Police approval to submit a full sub-application. This has moved rather quickly, but we are trying to capitalize on some of the forward momentum that we're experiencing with the steering committee. And as was mentioned a moment ago, we're also putting together our advisory group, and those RSVPs have been very successful. I think we have close to 30 people RSVP for that meeting. But associated with this effort, we are required to provide a 25% share of the total projected project amount. We anticipate that the project scoping activities that are necessary for this project are going to be somewhere around $780,000. And as such, we are requiring a local match of just around $195,000. So as we're looking to finalize our application and submit this through Michigan State Police, who will ultimately include our sub-application in their ask to the feds. We're looking for the Road Commission to sign a letter not only of support for the project, and we do have a letter of support from the county as well that we'll be sharing with Garfield. But also as far as the match commitment, is outlined in the letter that the road commission will provide the local match amount. And I think that it's really a two-step process. We need to, of course, meet the application requirements, the deadline requirements, and then have further conversation at the steering committee with respect to, the actual cost share that goes into this project. And of course, we have to get the grant before any money, either on the federal level or the local level, is spent.
Just to throw this out there, first of all, what does the total of almost 800,000? What does that cover? Just basically the study of the wetlands around the site? Is that essentially what is the scope of work that money covers?
So there are a number of elements overall. We're looking to really accomplish two things: get this project to a final concept and 10% concept plan, and also meet the application requirements that are necessary to submit to FEMA for a mitigation project. So actually position us to be able to do the work. And in addition to some of the activities that you mentioned, this grant will cover hydraulic studies, geotechnical studies, some of the community engagement work that needs to happen, the utility work associated with the evaluation, an engineer's opinion of cost and preliminary engineering report, as well as meeting the NEPA requirements for, again, potentially a full application to FEMA for mitigation. Am I missing any activities that need to be called out?
Thank you.
Sorry to put you on that.
No, thank you. No, I was going to volunteer to support your effort. I helped with the application. I populated most of those cost items from past experience with projects, and with the help of another engineer who's very experienced in bridge planning work. NEPA, for those who don't know, is the National Environmental Protection Act. It requires studies of threatened and endangered species.
I see NEPA as the absolute enemy of common sense in terms of we took a $20 million bridge project and it ballooned to 300 million because of NEPA. Ultimately, in my view, that's my opinion. And this is the reason why I ask this, because what would it cost for us? I mean, in terms of being realistic, what is the engineering and the expected costs that fall under this type of category if we just drop in a box culvert? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so in other words, I mean, are we dropping in 200,000 as a part our match to support all the other things that are going around, or are there other partners pitching into this amount? I mean, it says the road commission cost share is 194. Is the rest of it the grant?
I took it to mean the rest of it is grant.
The rest of it is
Yeah,
grant,
correct.
and so there are no other contributors to
Right.
that. It's just coming out of the road commission.
And to alleviate that concern, which I recognize, and especially the prior discussions that we've had, the NEPA element of the total rolled up itemized projected grant cost items is very small.
Okay.
From memory, $50,000 to $60,000, $100,000.
Okay.
Very small. It's not expected. There's actually been a cursory, what I call a tier 1 review already for threatened and endangered species.
Okay.
We're not going to.
So this is mostly engineering.
Yes.
And the grant has to be delivered to Garfield Township. They're the only ones who can accept this. We were told month ago, or Maxwell, when you guys figured this out, when Garfield had to submit it or can't be submitted. It's addressed to prevent future flood claims and damages. Get this stuff out of the way. Don't build in the same place. Garfield will receive a portion of it. And it's my view as a member of the steering committee that we have 3 partners in the steering committee. Garfield will benefit immensely from the planning money, the road commission and the county commission. And we will ask to share this in some fashion. The date is today and we don't have time to meet anybody else.
So we need to commit the,
Could we be stuck with it? Yes. Will we be? Number one, there's 700 total, or almost 800, I think the letter states. We got to put a couple $100,000 in, just the construction engineering for the bridge. Think about just the scope of one Lightner Bridge. Just the management of the construction, we approved 360 just to watch and when it was all over, when it's done. So this stuff is expensive, and this is mostly going to go for the benefit of the entire project. What we could, if we didn't do this, what we could buy with 194 when it comes to engineering is not much.
I understand that.
Well, and on top of that, because Garfield Township has to be the applicant, for this particular grant, they have to apply. But the bottom line is, it has to do with our road, and so, from my viewpoint, the road commission should be the lead agency, and we should be putting in we should have some skin in the
We have to
game.
move forward.
Yeah.
So we've kind of adjusted the scope and talked about that a little bit. I know this is the last minute, and I don't like to get blue sheets when I like to think about things beforehand, but with the timing of timing is important here. And I hope we can get a motion to do this. And
I will make a motion to approve the letter of support and local cost share commitment for Garfield Township's FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Program scoping grant application with Grand Traverse County Road Commission's cost share in the amount of $194,187.50, and authorize the chair to sign the letter.
Support.
okay, we have a motion and support. Are there any further questions from our esteemed gentleman here? Okay, so any further discussion, then let's have a roll call, please.
Underwood, absent. Gilman,
Yeah.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes, we record reluctant yeses and no.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Max.
All right. I think I brought most of these, and most of them are for Dan to explain about. This one I have a particular interest in. I understand that you want me to govern by policy. And think, okay, I need to know what the policies are. Commissioner Corn and had some discussions that we don't have. I really don't know that I've ever been given any sort of comprehensive set. I know the staff is trying to compile a list of our policies. Dan, you've got a long ways on it, and
Everything we're saying that we're calling the discovery phase closed. We have them all. We have a meeting with the policy committee on July 30th to take a look at these 160 and say, well, what do we want to do with these? So these ones, some that need to go away, which ones are priority, and then bring them all back to the board.
The one thing, and I want to make sure that it's clear, because maybe there is some confusion about this. 2/3 or more of these policies do not apply to the board. They apply to employees.
Right.
So when you're talking about that you want to govern according to the policy, predominantly these policies don't apply to this board.
right, so I'd like a nice compiled list of what the team thinks, and then we can compare that with what the law says and we can move on. Or we can get some lawyers
Well, I think you
involved.
have to be more specific as to what it is you're trying to get out of these policies that you need to know. First of all, the policies, if they apply to you, they apply to the rest of us as well.
Of
So it
course.
just doesn't apply to
No,
you.
no, no, but the whole
You
board
know.
has to govern
Right.
with known things, and I don't believe they're known. And
There has to be a policy handbook. Is there not?
No,
no, for commissioners.
that was,
No, but there is, I mean, I guess if your question is whether you want the policy committee to go through these policies and determine which of these policies apply to this board specifically, we can
That's
do
not,
that.
that's not what, no.
But then I'm struggling to see what it is that is being asked of the policy committee, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'm asking that the policies that apply to board members be published and compiled and known. And then as we have a book, we look it up, we see what it says, then we can discuss them. Because right now, we don't have anything to discuss, in my view, other than reverting to state law or he said, she said.
But that's what I just asked. And Commissioner Gilmore said, no, that's not what we're
No.
asking. But I just said, I asked if that's what you're asking, which of these policies apply to the board? And then compile them and review them to see how they need to be applied to the board.
That's a great place to start.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So we can go
You have
through
to, we
these.
had a book. We don't.
No, I was saying that I was asking that was a
No,
completely
no.
different question. It was about what you want the policy committee to do. So you want the policy committee to go through these policy lists, figure out which of these apply to this board, then compile them separately and make them available to all the board members.
Yes.
Okay,
Is it?
that's fine.
That's not what I was interested in doing. Alan and I had a discussion about this because most boards have a policy calendar, and every 3 to 5 to 8 years, they look at a couple policy, they have like a rotating
Right.
calendar. And we don't have a calendar yet.
Right.
When we talked about why we didn't, it came back to, we weren't certain of a list of policies. In the investigation that the staff did, they felt that many of them were 3 or 4 policies for the same thing. So I thought our policy committee was going to look at them for redundancy and sort of get things lined up so that we can create a policy calendar so that there's at least eyes on these policies every couple of years. Even if all you do is look at it and go, that's good, and then it goes back on the calendar for 2 years.
So that's what I understood from the email that I asked staff to send to clarify the purpose of the meeting, was that it was going to be a phased approach. And we are going to look at these different policies and review them and see which need to be updated, which don't need to be updated. We can still do that. I was just interested in what Commissioner Lehman's request
Right.
was. And we can certainly honor that request, and we can do the other
Sort
work
of, you
that,
could
yeah.
identify board or
Right.
employee or whatever. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't think about compiling a policy manual specifically for board members, but I'm not opposed to it. But I just want to be clear. When I thought about having this meeting, it was really Michelle. First of all, shout out to Michelle. She did a lot of work here, getting all of these together. And I think it's a really comprehensive list. Like Dan said, they're pretty sure the discovery's over. And, you can't solve a problem you can't identify. So here we have a list of all of them. And we can identify if we have some gaps or some older policies
which
that
we
need
do.
to be updated. My specific concern was in relation to human resources. There's been a lot of changes in human resources in the last 5, 10, 20 years. I want to make sure that we're updated on all of our policies and our requirements. Everything from sexual harassment policies, and so on. We all know that there's been some changes at our own workplaces, and I want to make sure that the Road Commission is up to date on all of that, which is part of what Michelle does as a human resources expert. She can help with that.
First of all, I mean, how many I roughly 100 and
I believe Michelle said there's 160 policies.
that's ridiculous.
Exactly.
That is absolutely bonkers to have 160
There's
policies.
Well,
redundancy.
within that 160, there's subgroups of like 3 of the same. We didn't add those total. There's like when you get into that 160, some of those might have 3 or 4 policies that we gotta pick one and go with
You
it.
can't solve
Yeah.
a problem you can't identify, and Michelle identified at least the facts for us.
So no wonder people, I mean, I don't know how we expect any employee to be made to keep apprised of 160 policies. And I'm sure many of these conflict with each other. Many of them probably address the same issue in several different ways. So, okay, I mean, it's going to be a process, but we can certainly,
I know
What you're asking for
the
is-
board has a smaller number of policies.
So.
I hope so.
I mean, to be honest with you, when I'm looking through it, just from the list of it,
I haven't seen anything
I
for
couldn't
it
see
yet.
anything, one of them that would apply to this board,
I have
but
not.
we'll look
So-
at it.
So
You know?
this is one of the, first of all, as far as policies, insofar as employees, I'd have full confidence in the policy, without saying a word, without even getting involved until there's work product. I would expect that our policy committee is going to come up with appropriate condensation of it and a condensing of it, and also organization of it. Insofar as the board policy, I think we need to have that discussion, because I think we've stepped outside of what is essentially established for us as policy by statute. And so we need to review
Mhm.
some of that.
Yeah.
To make sure that we're on the up and up with regard, so nobody can come back to us and say, well, hey, wait a minute, these things happened outside of your scope of authority.
I took some time to look up all of the policies in regards to Kalkaska, Antrim, Wexford, Benzie, all of our sister commissions as well. Just to kind of see where they're at and how they organize them and how they work in the scope of the state law as well. So that's part of this discussion as well.
And I think the other thing to look for when we are talking about just the board, that we would also have to look to the board rules, which are separate than the policies here. I think the board rules are more specific to this board.
Right.
They only apply to this board. So we would have to look at, I've looked at those board rules several times. I mean, for example, just in this format that we follow, the agenda, we're not compliant with
We're
our
not
board.
following the
rules.
board rules, yeah.
So the board will specify how the agenda needs to be set, and it was changed and now it's out of compliance with the board rules. So we'll have to look at the board rules, which is more specific to this body
Now, is
than
it,
the policy.
you two are in the policy then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's, I just wanted to clarify that. Good.
Well, like
All
there was something I was missing last week. Kylie asked, hey, there's no action items on the agenda. Do you want to cancel it? I looked through the board rules and I could find no answer for me to cancel it.
I think it was a postponement, not a cancellation. Because of the traffic light. We didn't want to have to come back for a special meeting for the traffic light, so we wanted to postpone it for a week.
But
But the other thing you have to keep in mind is board rules also makes reference to Robert's Rules of Order.
Right.
And under Robert's Rules of Order, as the chair, you do have the discretion to cancel a regularly scheduled meeting if there are no items on the agenda.
If there's no
Yeah.
action item. Which is what we do at my board.
So it's not just a hard and fast. It's not in the board rules, we can't do it. You then have to have a secondary.
I asked someone who's more into it than I was, and he said, I don't think you're authorized to do that, but I'll get a copy of Robert's rules.
Yep.
Yeah.
And read them.
Yeah, we cancel a lot of board meetings.
All right.
And we have here.
Yeah.
In the past.
We meet correct.
So you guys being here is good then, because this is the place where we're gonna have to have this discussion. I can't be emailing you saying, hey, these policy items. So I've got a few pages of things to go over. And one of the things, of course, he mentioned on here was the materials acceptance policy. So I
We'll look for that. It's on our list, right?
right, it's on, well, is it on the list or is it not on the list?
I am
I didn't-
unaware of that policy,
It's
so.
not on our current.
I didn't think so. Last week, I voted to agree to pay for the materials we got, and frankly, to move on. And I even explained to Ellen on the way out the door, sand is not the hill I want to die on necessarily, okay? Right, no pun intended. But there are, I came up with some analogies. I mean, just in the way that the whole thing happened. And Dan, for your part, you accepted the responsibility for what was it was a mistake. And it worked out, but it's still, but a couple of analogies, we solicit, for example, we solicit bids for, MDOT 5E3 asphalt mix. Okay, we'll throw that out there. I don't even know what the differences are, other than one has a little more porous. And only one contractor bids because they have a nearby plant capable of producing that mix. Instead, they deliver 13A. And everyone says, well, it performs better on the local roads. Should we pay for it? I mean, they delivered the wrong stuff. The other contractors who produced 13A never had an opportunity. They never had an opportunity to bid because they thought that the road commission required the 5E3. So it isn't whether or not the 13A is good, as in the case of the sand. It's not a matter of whether or not it's good.
The sand was good.
The sand was good. The issue is that everybody should have been able to compete with the same specifications, and we've denied somebody that opportunity. And that's why when I made the reference to the roundabouts that we approved years ago, I don't believe that the original low bidder had the opportunity to compete at the same level. For whatever reason, something happened.
I understand that.
And I was quite upset about it myself at the time. We went forward, we did it, and we got a lower price, but in the end, did we? Okay.
I don't think we could replicate this scenario if we tried.
Not right.
It was a mistake, and I don't want to harp too long.
And I don't want to
creating
harp on
a
it either.
policy on something that even if all the stars aligned again, could happen again.
I just want to make sure that when we do something, it is straight up on if something like that happens again, let's have a hard and fast, this is how it goes policy. So there's no question in Dan's mind what has to happen next. So there's no question in this board's mind what they
You
have
want
to
a
do.
policy for if we write the wrong words on a
Well,
RFP? Because we wrote the wrong words
all
on an
policy-
RFP.
the policy could simply say, we expect to get what we order. I mean, to that degree. If we have to stop at that point and say, whoa, we need to stop on, we accepted this bid, but we need to stop delivery on this. Maybe our contracts, we do have the ability to stop certain services en route, so to speak. So if the policy can address that, maybe that's what to do. I'm not the policy.
Yeah, I don't
You guys
know.
are the policy guys.
I
I'm
don't
just
know how
saying,
it could
we
because
need to have something that protects our bidders. And we need something that protects our bidders in terms of timing, for example. Okay, the timing is what killed the deal on those roundabouts. Okay, you know what? A day before the bids are open, a bid change because of what? Maybe nothing, no specs change or no allowances change prior to 3 days. We need to have those things hard and fast so that it's very clear to the bidders what they're going to
There
do.
was a while back, the policy committee had talked about the purchase policy.
Mhm.
And I think at that time, correct me if I'm wrong, there were certain changes that were occurring in the law at that time with respect
For the
to
limits.
for the limits. And so we kind of held that back. And so I don't know if those have occurred, if those changes have taken place on the limits or not.
I don't ask the Senate, but it's at the House.
Yeah, I don't think it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
moving forward.
Yeah, so I think that the purchase policy could address aspects of the bidding process, which what we are talking about. But I don't think we can address in a policy every single action that gets taken at the road commission. A policy is not meant to be a how-to. It's more of a more generalized version of what is expected. It's more about an expectation rather than a how-to. But the bidding process could address something that regarding changes to the bid and how those changes have to be addressed if bids have already come in. Because I do think that on the flip side, I think there's an issue also that if bids have been opened and then this board votes to delay the bids and allow it to reopen, now we have given potential bidders the opportunity to come in 10 cents below the lowest bidder. So I think there's unfairness on both sides, and we'll have to figure out what's the best way to approach it.
Yeah. Commissioner Underwood sort of brought a policy like that to us a few months ago. He said, because we announced the bid on the light at Eastone Road, then the bid, and there was only the one bidder, we thought it was way too high.
Yeah.
He didn't even want that bid brought forward because it gave too much detail
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
just for
Doesn't
something.
matter public record now.
Yeah.
It's just somebody to snipe the bid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
you used to happen on some of the auctions right before the
Yeah.
thing. You snipe that bid. Most people have gone away
He's
from that.
right.
So we have to make sure the road commission, if you don't, it seems like if you have a specification, and I'm not bringing this back up again. I'm saying that what we agree to purchase should be what we purchase.
And I agree with you, but I don't think that is a policy matter. That's just a contract matter. That is like, if you're going to, I think we just need to be more diligent in making sure that the contracts that are being put out.
It could be a policy
You know.
matter. For example, if we, as far as a bidding, part of the bidding policy, if there is only one bid, maybe something, especially if it's of a significant nature, like that, it's enough. And as he's, as you say, somebody could snipe with a lower bid the next time around.
I guess you could always not open the bid.
We could, right.
Yeah.
Policy, not open the bid, or,
No, I'm talking about what Alan was talking about in terms of the sand issue, the
Oh.
contracting. I'm not talking about the signal part. No.
well, I'm talking
Yeah.
in general though,
Yeah.
about if we get one bid. I mean, maybe the you guys could craft something that handles that.
But
in
how
some
many
way.
times have we gotten one bid?
We get them all the time.
There have been many times when we have only.
And are we
gotten-
handling it
Yeah.
appropriately? And that's just my concern. I wonder.
And that was the one instance where majority of the commissioners felt that the bid was too high. But in many instances, we have gotten to the point where a few years ago, we had a whole discussion about trying to get more competition in companies that would bid, because there was one show in town that was bidding on all the projects and they were the only bidder. And we approved those bids because we had no other choice. So I don't know how I don't think it's wise to have a policy when we typically do get a lot of single bidders. People don't apply to our projects. And maybe there's
delay a lot of things.
yeah, it would really be very cumbersome if every time there's one bid,
We gotta
don't-
wait 4 more weeks.
yeah,
for
we have to
another
wait
board
to
meeting.
see if we can do it, get a better response. Sometimes it's not feasible. It has to be done on a case by case. There's certain things that have to be done on a case by case basis, depending upon the circumstances. In that particular circumstance, the majority of the board felt that the price for a traffic light was too high.
Yeah.
In many other instances, we have said, yeah, go ahead. Approve it. But we'll look into the purchase policy and see what we can do.
The other part of it, as far as board governance, I don't know if it be under policy or it's just the general, we need to, I mean, we go by Robert's rules generally. I mean, that's just, it's a safe
The
bet.
default. on the
It's a
board
default,
rules.
absolutely. But I mean, if we have, for example, the governance manual, we have these things in order, an ethics policy, that isn't stupid. I
You're
mean,
talking about the board rules?
yeah. I'm talking about
Governance.
rules, yes. I'm talking about.
Yeah,
board
Board
rules.
rules, okay.
Okay, But I think they could, you know, so rules of order, delegation of authority, obviously public comment, commissioner conduct, and then chair duties. I think these things should be addressed. And one of the things when we're talking about, you know, it'd be nice to just have you step into the chair, you know what you can and can't do.
You're talking about the board rules?
So the board rules do address, the board rules do
Which
address.
we are
chair
given.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have them.
There would be no policy.
Well, and there are other things that need to be addressed also. And I wish Joe was here a little bit. We have some statutory things we do statutorily wrong. And one of those things is we need to address how we hire our manager and what his actual duties are. Okay, and statutorily, there isn't any hard and fast rule on that. Okay, I'm going to say that. But the board appoints a superintendent, and it's a shall.
There are exceptions.
It's a shall appoint a superintendent. You could say there's an exception. It's backwards. Okay, and Joe tried to explain that to me, and it's no. A hard reading of the statute, we shall hire a superintendent. Now, what is subjective is whether or not the person is qualified as a road builder or has knowledge of road building, and whether or not they could be an engineer.
Right.
Okay, that's. But the other person that this board statutorily shall employ is the engineer, is the highway engineer.
Well, it's a little different, but
No, it's exactly that.
I do have it here.
You have it right there. Read it. Go ahead.
I do have the state law right here. This one's about the chairs. I did look, I'm sorry, I'm gonna scroll through.
I haven't.
Kalkaska has a manager that the board hired. The manager hired the superintendent. His name is Jeff Root. Antrim County has a manager. That is who the board hired, who then in turn hired an operations manager.
I don't care what the others do. I'm talking about statute.
Right, so you're telling me Leelanau County is against the law by
I'm
hiring
telling
their
you what is
manager,
in
Brendan Maloney?
statute. I don't care what
I
the other
will find
counties
the
do. If
statute.
everybody's doing it
I've got
wrong,
it.
everybody's doing it wrong.
Well, that's because I read the statute and it says that in a county that chooses so, there are two choices. One can be the manager and one can be
No,
the clerk
there
of the
isn't.
county.
The word manager is not in the statute whatsoever as regards to the road commission. There
Okay,
isn't
then-
one reference to manager in the
So
statute.
do you want us to change his job title to superintendent? He'll be the only one in northern Michigan.
I
that
don't care what we
affected
call
board.
him. We can
Okay, well then let's swap
we can
names. You want
consider
Larry to
him,
be
we
the
can
manager?
consider him the superintendent. But my point is, if we are going to go by what the state law says, then we must recognize where we are not doing it right.
Okay, well,
And you cannot tell me that we are doing it right if we aren't doing it
the
right.
Benzie County Road
I
Commission
don't care
hired
what the
manager
Benson County.
who hired their superintendent. The Leelanau County Road Commission hired their manager who hired their superintendent. The Wexford County, the one anomaly has an engineer / manager because you can have a PE as an engineer manager. The board did hire that person because they not only chose him as their manager, but chose him as their PE.
You're deflecting.
I'm not deflecting,
This is,
Jason.
I'm telling you, read.
I did.
the
I gotta find
statute.
it. This one's on the clerk.
I think we should, if we have to discuss laws, then we have to get the lawyers involved.
Okay, let's do it.
I mean,
I'm all for it.
I mean, honestly,
I'm all for it. I would love to have our lawyer talk to all of the other boards and find out if we are
it
all.
doesn't matter what the
I
other boards are
do.
doing.
I care.
It doesn't matter what the boards are doing. It matters what we are doing and if it's right. Why do you keep deflecting to the other boards? Who
Because,
cares what they do?
well, let me complete the sentence. You are not the only commissioner in the history of road commissioners that has read this part of the statute. Do you really think that there's no other Jason Gilmans in Leelanau, Antrim, Benzie, Wexford, Kalkaska? Every single one of those boards over all those years, you are the only human being that's figured this out? No, and it's because there is an exception to it for managing director.
Show me the exception
I will
in
find
state law.
All right, let's move on.
And I also found it for the clerk, if you were worried about that. I do have that screenshot.
As far as, oh, that's a policy.
No, it's not. The clerk of the county by state statute is the
Okay,
clerk of the road commission.
Okay, there's something in here that says how I'm supposed to run the meeting. I kind of want to move this along. I'm not a meetings champion. I really admit it. I think it needs some work. I'm not sure our lawyer is the only one who should weigh in on it. I think since we work under the jurisdiction of the county board, they might have something we're authorized by them. We were selected by them and we're
To tell us whether Dan's job title should be superintendent or manager?
to read the law.
The county commissioners?
So the county attorney.
So you want an opinion from the county attorney and from the road commission attorney?
Yes.
Well, that will have to be a motion, I suppose. Because you are committing, because, I mean, to the extent that you can ask the county road commission attorney to do it, as chair you can.
Okay.
No.
But if, unless the county is gonna pay for their own lawyer to give them an opinion, that
Well,
would
my
go to the county.
recent interactions, I've spoken to Mr. Henn a couple times and
Well,
he's pretty involved in the CRA, which is a lobbying organization. And I'm not convinced that his is the only opinion I need to consider.
well, again, he is the attorney who was retained by the board.
Right.
So he is the attorney for the road commission.
All
as
I'm
things now.
asking, I'm not asking,
I mean-
if there's an exception to what,
I'm looking it up, right?
if there's an exception to what 224 says, then show me the exception.
I'll find it.
2224.19, 22.9 says the board shall appoint a competent superintendent.
Correct.
It doesn't use the term road manager. However, having represented commissions,
I don't
I
have a
can tell
problem.
you there is, I think the issue is not going to be in the statute. It's going to be really in case law as to how the term competent superintendent has been interpreted by the courts to allow to permit road commissions to hire a road manager.
Okay.
So I think that could be a.
If there's case law,
Yeah.
case law, that's a whole nother thing.
And if one.
And that's fine if the judiciary is writing the law and the legislature is just kind of putting a guide.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer because I personally have never been asked to research that question in my professional
Yeah.
capacity. And I'm not going to offer my opinion in a professional capacity.
The word
on this
"gal" is kind of a trigger point for me.
Yeah,
You know.
but we have a lawyer that represents the road commission. He was hired by a vote of the board. And so we can ask for an opinion. If any board member wants to go outside that, they can do that on their own dime.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. No, hold on. So hold on. So it's okay for two members of this board to gather together and solicit the opinion of our road commission lawyer for one thing, but it's not for another.
I'm saying
When
he
you say
can-
when you say on my own dime,
to go outside the road
oh,
commission.
to go outside it.
Can
Okay.
can you just listen? I mean, this is the second time you have misinterpreted my words. Okay.
This wasn't clear enough.
Yeah, no, it was very clear enough. You are taking adversarial approach for, I don't know why. I'm not saying that he can't get another
I'm
opinion.
telling you
Go,
we're doing it wrong.
okay, that's your opinion. Then we have a road commission lawyer, get a road commission lawyer, but to kind of like try to get me into a gotcha moment
I'm not
by
trying to get you.
misinterpreting my words, I don't think that's appropriate in a board meeting.
In the Michigan Road Commission, a competent superintendent, as referred to in state law, is the person chosen as the senior operational official responsible for supervising a road commission.
Okay.
That's it. Some people call them managers, some people call them manager/engineers, some people call them managing directors, some people call them directors. I found them all in 83 counties.
Okay.
And we also have the one up north with the manager/engineer.
And
And if you want to make a motion to change the name of Dan's job title, I'm happy to do
No,
that.
because that is not,
Because it's ridiculous. What are we talking about?
that is true to the extent that the statute does require the road commission to appoint a superintendent.
as
as, just it, that's it, as superintendent who is, as a county highway engineer.
As we are supposed to appoint the county highway engineer. I have no problem with our county highway engineer. I don't. And I think that the choice was a good choice. We need to, if we want to do it right, I feel that we need to bless the decision with an approval by the board to hire that person. And I
Here's
think
what
that
it says.
to do it right.
Leave it open because
What does that mean? The beginning of the year, we like go around the table and say, we're gonna accept me as the manager, this person is that what they're talking about?
this is what the statute says. The board shall appoint a competent engineer skilled in road building who may be an engineer and who shall.
No.
supervise all
No,
the-
that's not-
superintendent, you
Yeah.
that's what it says.
The competent superintendent.
Right.
Who may be an engineer.
Yeah. Right.
That's,
You said.
We're talking about an engineer.
He just misspoke.
no, it does say we have to appoint an engineer separately. We,
Separately, I'm
We
talking
shall-
about superintendent.
I'm talking about an engineer.
Oh, you're talking now,
Yeah.
you moved to, okay. I do think we appoint an engineer, don't we? Or does he hire?
He hires them. He's been hired. We've always been hiring. That's the way it's been done. I'm not arguing that isn't the way that it's been done. I'm just saying we're doing it wrong.
So we're done talking about the superintendent though.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were talking.
I don't
about
have a problem.
superintendent.
And the funny thing is, on the way here, Dan was the superintendent. Why is Dan the manager right now? It's because he was the superintendent. And frankly, the road commission needs a superintendent. And that's one of the statutory obligations that we have. And we said, well, we already have a superintendent. We can go forward and continue operations
Okay.
when we changed from Brad.
Right, I remember that.
Okay, that was our.
But we're
our way
done,
in.
like, talking about, like, we're fine with the definition of superintendent. Dan fills that role and our board hired him.
If that's the will of the board, that's fine. I don't have a problem, There is, again, in the statute though, just so we understand it, there is no mention of a director, a managing director, or a manager.
Right, because it all falls under competent superintendent.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a waiver for a board with certain size for the county clerk part. That part I read too. And then under the highway engineer, it just says it's mandated to employ a competent highway engineer. I don't see the word hire.
Shall
Yeah,
employ.
shall employ. Why does that mean
competent
that we
highway
hire
engineer.
them?
It's the board. That reading is that the board, that person is responsible to the board. The board hires that engineer. Now, management operations are delegated by this board. This is where policy comes in. Management operations are delegated by this board to our manager or superintendent or whatever.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm reading the words differently than you are, which is fine. Which is fine. I mean, I think basically they're saying a road commission has to have a competent PE, like an engineer. The road commission as a whole can't not have an engineer, I think is what.
There are counties that don't, they contract it out.
Yeah,
So-
and you can because a contract is, considered an employee, for sure.
Well, when it's contracted out, it's the road commission that's actually doing the hiring.
They just say in the employee, that's all. I mean, it just is how you interpret it, but I don't know that this is something our policy committee is gonna talk about it, because it seems like we're just nitpicking at things because people are trying to
So-
nitpick at laws, right?
I guess, you could say we can nitpick at things and we can just kind of pick apart the rules we want to follow and whatnot.
I mean, I'm happy to contact an attorney regarding this. I will even pay for one with my own money. If you would like a definition of competent superintendent and employee of lawyer or of engineer, I'll do that.
Just read the statute.
I can read it. I'm reading it right now and
It's
I'm
not
going
that
to read
long
it
a
to you.
statute. It's
Yeah.
very plain.
Okay,
language.
well,
Yeah, and I am not, I'm just gonna read this statute, which is what Commissioner Conrad, it just said, Board of County Engineers shall employ a competent county highway engineer. And in the same, shall employ.
shall employ.
So we do employ a county engineer.
Yeah.
It also talks about it uses the term employ, which could be, we do hire we do employ a competent county road highway engineer. It doesn't say that, it doesn't specifically say that
Shall
the road superintendent shall hire it. It just says the board of county road commissioners shall employ a competent highway engineer. Your interpretation is that hiring has to be done the same way that the board hires a county superintendent, except that the
If it reads the
term,
same way, it's the same way.
no, but
No,
it
it doesn't
doesn't.
read the
I think
same way.
because the word appoint is used in the county, in the superintendent one versus employ.
That's a good,
So that's
It's a
the
good
difference. That's the difference between the two, is that in the other statute, it says that we shall appoint. And I'll double check right now.
that
whether
does say a
is-
point.
Yeah. So that's the difference.
You just
Is
need
that
to employ.
we appoint a superintendent who can act as a road manager versus employing a county highway engineer, which we, in this case, has delegated that responsibility to the road manager. That's the difference between the two.
Okay, I mean, if that's your opinion on it.
That's my opinion, but
Right.
again, we could ask our lawyer, the road commissioner lawyer, to offer a formal opinion.
We should. I think.
That's
we
fine.
should, Yeah.
I think then that would settle the debate.
Can we call this, move on then, please? I think we should look to the law to see what,
I mean, are we moving
Okay.
forward or are we
no,
we're still debating this?
no,
Okay,
I think we could. We'll get an opinion on the
Okay.
language. And then we'll move.
Yeah, the big thing on that the whole discussion was supposed to be, policy, obviously. And the materials acceptance, I think, is something that needs to be addressed.
I do not see that in the list of the
I
policies
know.
that Hyder and I are looking at. So,
no, I think they're talking, that's a new policy.
That needs to be,
oh, a new policy.
yeah, it
Yeah.
needs to be
Okay,
drafted.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood that.
And I put this on, a month ago, before we had the disagreement about the sand bit, but I still think we should have, I think it should be, the word should be concise and they should mean something. And I don't think they should allow that many exceptions because I think it either favors a bidder or disfavors bidders. And I think people should know if they're going to work for the road commission that this is their standard. This is what they want. I use some other things about trucks and transmissions and some other examples. I wish we could just have some very concise language about it. All right, G. I asked this to be put on their County Road 633 and Euchre Road signal.
It's H now.
It's H.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah.
no good.
Dan, have we had any more? I really, this is all just updating us on what happened. Neil told us a couple weeks ago that he was concerned that we should probably, if it doesn't meet the warrants, we shouldn't have a full signal
I
there.
thought we were gonna talk to the property owner if they would be willing to give up that for a flashing light versus a permanent light.
That's turning into quite the project. I've been knocking on doors, trying to track down phone numbers. There's 4 separate property owners on each corner. We originally had the understanding that it was one property owner on one side because he leases the land on the other side. So it's actually, he doesn't own it, he leases it, so it was going through him and the lease, so track down the actual owner. Everybody's in favor of keeping the light that we've talked to so far. I'm still trying to track down the one owner that actually has the property on, that has the turn lane in it. I left my business card at his home, hopefully I hear back. The other ones are of the opinion, the one is very strongly feels this way, that it's either a light or it's nothing. They don't want the flasher on their one.
Do we have to remove the turn lane?
I don't know. I'm still trying to.
I mean, it's in our right of way still, isn't it?
It's outside the right of way.
We need to, as we talk about this, Blair wanted it. They liked it from the south end of town. Are we willing to pay for the property owners for the right of way to keep it if we can? Can we discuss this in advance?
I know we couldn't keep it because Neil had talked
Yeah.
about it not meeting the warrant.
Right.
So
That's what I thought.
if we keep it as a flashing light and we just buy the other things, because that would fit with not going against the warrants. And someday accepting the light and having it ready for the township. To having it ready when it might meet the warrants rather than just giving it back because it's expensive things. Could we buy the easements for the fair market value if the people will sound to us and
For a flashing light.
for a flashing light? We thought about, it can't be knocked down. We've had that, it's a really busy intersection out there, and we had that fatality out there where we were allegedly, we didn't maintain our stop signs. It's a really big stop sign that's really hard to knock down at a really big corner. We, Kylie and I spoke about it. There's a lot of traffic that way. She didn't like the left, that's okay. But there's a lot of traffic at the corner. I thought having it flashing is still in bad weather conditions better than the stop sign.
I like the idea of it flashing and being there myself, and just as you say, in bad weather. When you're flying up Euchre, you see that flashing light, yeah, it reminds you there is a road coming if you're not looking at your map or something already.
There could be the option we talked about with staff, is right now, it's kind of like a 4 corners.
Yeah.
You could do a span one kitty corner, if you get 2 to agree, the other 2 didn't. But now we're talking at our cost, we're moving poles, we're
Benzie just put up some flashers for 20,000 an intersection with window mauler.
Yeah.
When flashing, we're talking about the yellow,
Just so you
right?
the flashing red and.
It would
So
have
flashing
a
yellow.
flashing yellow for 633, that'd be flashing red for Euchre.
Right, because you, 633, there's no stop sign.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like how Cedar Run and, Barney, Barney of, not Barney.
So when I was asking, so I got the report I asked for. We're still in negotiations.
My concern is that I'm worried about a slippery slope here. My concern is once we go down this road of buying easements, because one township, and no disrespect to our township, wants a permanent light that was there temporarily for a construction project to become permanent. We have other intersections that we have placed permanent temporary lights. One of them comes to mind is Seco Road and West Silver Lake Road. All of a sudden, are we now going to go ahead and
Which
buy?
would have more warrants, I think.
Which
I think so.
go by easements every time enough people come and say, no,
Could-
we want a light.
Does it increase the safety?
Could
I
we
don't know.
offer, the township, talk to Nicole and see if the township's willing to buy in and do the, essentially.
I mean, yeah,
Tab for that.
Doing the easements, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, because if they're really, because she really wants that. I mean, that's what they want.
No, they want a light.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know
they
if
want
they
a
really
light.
want a
But
flash.
I think that at least opens the door down the road if, for example, there ever was.
And you might be able to leave the turn lane, which we've talked about in a lot of the
Yeah.
other things. And if the people have told us that, in order to have improvements at these intersections, it's not just the light needs to roll and leave all these other lanes standing because of left turn stuff. The turn lanes are a really important, essential component of the lights at the intersection. Like we talked about at Gray Road, the left turn there is an important off grade. So it's not just the light, it's also I think we have to tear out that turn lane, or MDOT has to tear out the turn lane if we don't do something about it. What did they tell you, Tim?
Yeah, they're finishing up the project and they're starting to pull lights, so. That's where they're wanting to know, do we leave it, do we pull it? Right now, they're talking about, next week, putting that into flash.
Like they would rip up asphalt for the widening of the road
Yeah.
to make a turn lane. Really?
They'll remove all, because they only had a 2-year agreement with all the residents, and I don't know when that.
Oh,
2-year
I see
agreement-
what you're saying. Okay.
Because it was probably under some sort of an easement agreement to put that turn lane.
Yeah, they had
Okay,
a
so I
2-year
have looked
agreement,
this
I
up.
think it's coming up here in.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
I can't
you-
remember when they started the
I'm
project.
saying, didn't they? I thought it started late last year or something, so I mean, we're okay for a little bit, if we need to take some time to
Yeah,
cogitate
kind of what we
it.
were starting to wonder, we talked to a few residents and nobody can remember where they had it, so they're looking for their paperwork, when they actually signed it.
Yeah.
They might have signed it 6 months before they started the project,
Right,
so that's what we're trying to find, when everybody actually signed it.
What was the effective date?
I think we can approach the township and see if they're willing to 50-50 on that and on the purchase of for the.
I'd be willing to-
For the.
I'd-
for
What
the-
kind of dollars?
Because- because
I
buying-
don't even know what this means.
The thing is,
You know, it's gonna get us, you know, the federal appraisal process.
Right,
Is not so good. It offers people $46 or something.
right.
It's,
So
Yeah.
with that one not being a
It's
fade,
not a Fed aid project,
Project.
no.
what you do is you do comps for what
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cost per acre is, and then you figure out
like we
That's
did for.
0.05 acres, and that's where it doesn't.
And we have to
it
hire,
doesn't equal anything.
and we have to hire someone to do that, right?
No,
Okay, we do
Not
it
if it's
in-house.
not a Fed
That
aid
aid, we have to
project.
hire somebody
Yeah.
on our own.
We can do it in-house, okay. good.
This is where it's Euchre on one side and Hamlin on the other?
Yes.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
been looking up. If I can look at the Google Street View, then I.
But I mean, some buy-in is some buy-in.
Yes.
And then there is, you talk about the slippery slope,
Yeah,
you know, that at least kind of settles that. Because, okay, I mean,
Right.
we do cost sharing in a lot of projects.
and that's what I was thinking. We already do
Yeah.
cost sharing. So if they're willing to go 50-50 on it, and for the turn lane, and we can even put up the flashing light, although if it's not gonna please people, I mean, I guess
But
it's something.
It's,
It's better than nothing.
it's better than just
You're right.
stop signs
Yeah.
and better than a stop sign that can get taken down.
But how do you deal with MDOT ripping up the asphalt then?
They wouldn't if we can get that.
We need to kind of,
We kind of have to
Right.
say to them that, hold off. We're
Would we
trying
have to
to,
compensate them for
No,
that? Okay,
I don't think we'll have to compensate them. I don't.
It's a saving MDOT money.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, they don't have to rip it out. We probably just will have to negotiate with the,
As long as they take that light out of
With the
the
proper-
Euchre and,
well, it's,
137.
with the turn lanes, it increases the safety there.
and I think we might be able to do better if we have buy-in from the township. So that they
All
could be,
right, I like consensus. Do we need to vote?
because we are liking a flashing light. That's what we're talking.
and the
about.
turn lane.
And the turn
A
lane.
flashing light in the turn lane because it doesn't meet the warrants to do the
No,
street
I,
light.
I think
Okay.
Joe's not here. I think you bring that as a, look, this is what we're probably.
I don't think we need a
towards.
motion.
I don't, yeah, I think you just
Okay.
see if there's buy-in at that end for that.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it
Before we-
officially.
Okay.
But I
Good
think
with
they're
that.
gonna have to give them some kind of like
Estimate.
roundhouse idea, because honestly, I'm on the road commission and I got no idea. I don't think the random, person that.
Is it gonna cost $5,000?
Jeff pulled some rough property things and was starting to compile some pricing for us.
Okay.
So he's already working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to make a decision if they don't know.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All of a sudden they can bill for $75,000.
Yeah, I know that, I don't think anything will do. Biker Bridge, can you speak to us about that?
Yeah, Whitener Bridge is still being held up by MDOT. We're ready to go and the winning contractor is ready to go. So we can't actually have any dates or any really talk to them until MDOT does their final.
Cause they authorized the bid. It was their,
We're waiting for them to sign off. Neil is hounding them every other day, emails, phone calls. Dave is supposed to be,
we gotta get.
process, we gotta get going, you're holding us up. And then what happens is MDOT will finally say, okay, all the paperwork signed. You guys can have a pre-construction meeting and that's when we can finally get together and we'll get dates. We've been told that the vendor that won, they're ready to go. They're ready to go tomorrow. They want to do this project. So
But they don't wanna be working in the winter either.
no, and they accepted this with the date that it'd be done by the end of the year. So they're ready to go.
And there's no explanation as to why they can't just,
They're verifying insurance. They're just all the major stuff's gone. It's just this niddly little picky stuff.
are there any documents that they are requiring from the vendor that have not been provided to them
They said
that they
that-
can point to that say that
They
that is
said
what's.
road commission submitted they need to, the vendor submitted they need to. We're just verifying everything and
Do we need to contact
Yes.
our state representatives to, again, to kind of light some fire?
Some of these things that I have on the list, you might even think, why is it on the list? Because sometimes we're gonna have to let it fire under people.
Yeah.
It's,
Is this the
Just-
same thing with the East Bay Township project? Is this the same, okay?
they put
I was
theirs
just
through.
thinking while we're talking on
or
that.
push that through
They
instead.
signed off on that one already this week.
Because somebody likes.
This week they signed
Sidewalk.
off.
Something's going on.
All right, and the contractor, the rep realized me about it, all the contractors, the contractor we have is great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
they
I think
read
back
that
to,
through the whole bridge process.
They're qualified to do bridges for
They're showing
sure.
much bigger bridges. Yeah.
Right, yeah, they are a bridge contractor. So it's not like MDOT isn't working.
So it's held, that's held up. I, which is not I, it's J. The Northland Lake Straight Road RFPs
Zimmerman.
and Zimmerman, of course, Zimmerman.
Sure. Still planning on trying to get, next year's list out. We're hoping sometime, probably late August, get all these RFPs out. We just continually with that major flood damage and trying to get Bitener through really put everything we hope to do this summer behind.
Yeah.
2 months. It's been a huge undertaking to try to get Bitener to happen. Definitely push us back, but our goal is to get that out here, end of August.
Okay. This is the next thing, J, which is K. Oh, if there was no other, so K, the Peninsula Township FOIA request. They sent us, they sent.
Why a FOIA? I mean, it's not like we weren't willing to
Sit down and
produce.
talk to us.
And they sent it to the county.
What I want to know is, will we waive the fees? And can we get this out and get this off our list?
I have my opinions on the waiving. I don't know how many documents we're talking.
We're talking 26 years.
Yeah.
We've only been electronic for 5-6 years, so
Yeah, we don't
but
need.
at this
heavy
point,
lift.
I actually reached out to the township supervisor and kind of said, "There's something we can talk out, or
Yeah.
what's your end goal here?" I mean, 26 years ago, they didn't have hey, there's a pothole, we fill the pothole.
Yeah.
The guys weren't tracking the stuff, so we're not even probably gonna find that much. But in order to go through it, I had engineering staff figure out roughly what they thought it would cost. They think it's about $10,000.
Yeah, this,
Yeah.
see, the lowest price,
Lowest paid employee
Paid
capable
employee
of
capable
of
reviewing
But
it and
Dan just
redacting.
said how far behind they are
Yeah.
with storm stuff.
So
And
the staff doesn't have time for
No.
this, so we're probably looking at hiring
if you have to do it,
a clerical person for 2 months or.
I wouldn't vote
I wouldn't vote for it either.
for any waiting.
And there's a specific
They
statute
want to
in the
spend
FOIA.
money. It's like a thing. They always want to spend money on.
Besides, almost any FOIA request can be argued to benefit public interest.
Yeah.
I mean, next thing we know, newspaper media, we get FOIA requests from media, and they always make that argument. Well, it's for the benefit of the public.
Yeah.
Well, I
of
think
course
we
it
would
is.
know whether it came from newspaper or from.
No, I'm just talking about the argument that it is for the public benefit. Anyone, any
There's
of
your
those
slippery
FOIA
slope.
requests- Yeah, most of those requests can be argued to
Yeah.
benefit a public
Yeah.
interest.
And the part that bothers me about this is, I just pulled it up. The request entails all maintenance records
Yeah.
and reports, repair requests, denials, and road rating reports from 2000 to the present. Is anybody gonna compile 26 years of how much Old Mission has contributed towards their road system? Is that part of the FOIA? Because we're seeing half of the story here. They want to say that we're not doing enough repairs for them. Well, how much have they done in partnering with us? Well, we're not going to ask our staff to add on top of it.
I'm not asking about what Peninsula Township did.
I am. I
I'm
personally
asking
am.
what
No,
you.
I'm not gonna vote in favor of it.
Yeah, this is,
If they wanted, they
Absolutely not.
paid for it.
They pay for it. This has become a little bit of a hobby for a lot of the officials here. The road commission has become a piñata. Anytime you can't get your job done, let's blame it on the road commission and beat them up in the public.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Yeah. It's a
And
one-sided
I would
thing.
expect the members of this board would actually have the back of the road commission.
yes.
I mean, rather than making excuses for everyone else at the road commission's expense. It's getting ridiculous. Every time something happens wrong.
I think we try to work with the townships. We spend a lot of money with the townships. The townships are our customers. The townships are our partners. I think to blatantly say no is a bad sign.
We're not
There are
blatantly
times to say
saying
no.
We're not blatantly saying that. It's an unreasonable request to ask us to waive fee for records going back 26 years.
Yeah.
And our taxpayer fund can go towards spending
Yeah,
$10,000.
What would be a reasonable request?
5 years. I'll say 5.
I wouldn't even go 5. I would say 3 years.
Well, it depends what they're looking for. What
Yeah,
are you looking
depends
for?
what- yeah.
That's why I say sit
No
down with
idea
us.
what
What are you
they're-
really trying to
You
accomplish?
you represent them. They must be talking about
They-
something.
And they send the request to you.
They sent the request to me. I don't know why, because I never heard a word about it. They sent the request to me, possibly because I'm chairman of the board, possibly because I'm the township representative.
Right.
But there was no discussion. There was no discussion I was part of to know it, but it doesn't matter who was.
As a rule, they've never encouraged any participation by county commissioners or road commissioners at their meetings. And all of a sudden,
I think they have a reasonable.
I mean, I can,
only when they want something.
if you want to know, I had a little, I can put a little insight on this from my communications.
Okay.
It looks like they're trying to prove neglect of the road system, and then now that it's to the point of being in a crushing shape, they should not have to pay 50/50. They want us to pay 100% fully. And by having all the information of what we've done for the past 26 years, sounds like they're hoping to show that, well, the comment was, you should have chip sealed it. Well, chip sealing has only been a thing that's been around for like 10 years. We didn't have enough funding to pay staff or buy trucks 20 years ago. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
We weren't able to do a lot of these projects until we had the millage. The millage is how we've been able to start to improve our road system. That has not been around very long.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. So
Well, the millage, yes, I think we've gotten the millage since 2014,
I'm not-
2016.
Let them dig it out of the select fund. They apparently have way too much money.
Okay. How about the east-west corridor documents? Kylie gave me some stuff today. And, I'm hoping there's charts and pictures and all that stuff in the basement that Bill Zip presented to us. Do you think Monday, some of that stuff could be brought over and hung on the boards at Garfield?
I don't know how much of that there is. I know, like, from Bill, there's a lot of electronic, right? You can pull it in a thumb drive and that kind of stuff, yeah.
Final phase.
Somewhere
Phase
I've
one,
seen it
final
once
board.
before. We have to find it where there was like, this is when the East-West Corridor originally got started talking about. It was like the old tapes where you like recorded people talking and then like moved on to like an actual VCR one, and then it's moved on to thumb drives. I saw that somewhere once upon a time
So this is what you're talking about is
10
original.
years ago.
I think anything.
10 years ago, there-
Anything we have that's on these projects, in the old days, it's called Hammond, anything that the advisory group might be able to use. You guys have any problem with giving them whatever records we have?
No.
Kylie just gave me some stuff. I'm being open, I'm being transparent, I'm being talking about.
Did you ask?
We have the
her on site?
OHM study, right? I mean,
Yeah, the Hartman Hammond
Yeah.
one, we should have those, but those would be all
That's all-
electronic, I would
we have
think.
all that.
it's all electronic.
Yeah,
It's
that
all
would all be
electronic.
electronic. I don't know if we got paper copies.
I wanted everything from the road commission.
Yeah.
I figured the other agencies, like John is gonna
So-
bring what he has.
You talked to him about it?
I have not.
And we may
What
have,
day is today? Oh, it doesn't work tomorrow. Maybe I'll call him Monday.
and we may have some information that was gleaned when we did the whole reconfiguration, if you recall, with the turnaround and everything, which talk about things that cost money. It only costs us like $375,000 to do all that. I have no idea what it costs.
Oh, that big like railroad bridge?
When
remember
we
that?
when we did the turnaround.
Yeah.
And basically started the lights flashing, it was cheap. It was good,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
yeah.
We found a feasibility study from 2005 on South Airport.
Okay.
Were you guys able to start scanning that in?
That's in the.
That didn't know stuff you
That's
guys.
in that, and then anything recent that was digitalized from,
That could
Oh,
get dropped in the
whatever.
box.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that to Cameron.
Yeah, yeah.
Before he leaves.
Yeah, on a flash drive or maybe something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to share make sure you guys are good with this stuff.
Sure.
All right. Public comment. Is there any public who would like to comment?
I have the gentleman that wasn't able to stay would like me to read his,
Okay,
Dan from Roosh Road. Why dig up the road shoulders when it's grass to the road with no drainage issues? The grass helps fight washouts. Second is, why is roundabouts 20 miles per hour when that is not enough for most to merge in? Should be 15 miles per hour. Signage should change also, maybe almost stop, then proceed. Something to help prevent the long chain of cars that come through together. Slowing them down with a proper yield helps.
thank you.
So our shoulders in really bad shape from all the rain. We just got a round of rain here. So we're trying to pull our shoulders back in. That's what's going on right now. So we are tearing some grass up, but we're trying to pull that gravel back in.
In fact,
The shoulders.
on Long Lake Road, just past the turn, just when you start to go up, we are going to lose the edge of that road. on the heading outside. You might want to take a look at that. The gravel there, it's just not the right size or something, and it's getting washed down.
Sorry, it's written as Long Lake and
Long Lake, so you're coming out, you're past the light at Olson's there.
Olson's, okay?
Okay, and then you're coming around about a quarter mile from that light. And there's
On the hill.
there's
Oh,
a guy,
across from
the guy's got a pebble driveway that goes up, and then down below that, it's the same material, and it's just washing out. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I picked the guy up there yesterday. I'm looking at it like, we're gonna lose this road here if we don't do something about it.
Yeah, it's, well, something that staff's wanting to focus heavily on right now is getting our shoulders back in shape, because the rain is just really
Yeah.
good.
And that brings me back to something that one of our meetings with the engineer, originally he mentioned mastic. Is there something where that might be able to be used to hold that together? I don't know the strength or the ability for that.
Glue
Glue the stones together. It's apparently somewhat
Did
permanent.
we get any crushed asphalt of our projects?
As of yet, we might be getting something from Hammond Road, but we used to get it all the time. They usually want it as like a byproduct, want to get rid of it. Now everybody wants to keep it and
Right.
recycle it into the asphalt. So we never don't get it anymore.
Some of the areas that compacted that ground of asphalt is useful if we have it. It can even be mixed with road gravel.
The engineer had mentioned that where he was at, they would actually use it. It's expensive.
Like a
But-
glue?
It's like a glue, like
Okay.
plastic or like fiberglass or whatever. I mean, it's something that just holds together and it doesn't fail.
We're trying to get somebody to come up and do a demo for us.
That would be really cool, because I mean, there are situations where if we have a pothole that just keeps reappearing after every third car that goes by it, maybe we do something a little different to buy us some time.
Well, and the amount of rain that we've had this year, it's just a never ending battle for the crews. I'm sure every time they think they fixed something, it
Yeah.
washed out again.
But it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem is you put it back together, but it hasn't had time for roof bases to take back off. Another round of rain comes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's already soft material.
I did not realize we didn't have commissioner comment at the end, so if it's okay, I can take my 3 minutes of public comment, even though I'm not speaking as for the public. Sure. I'm happy to do that. We did have a letter on our desk, and I think it's appropriate to acknowledge it. At the end of the letter, it's from an employee. It says, "I respectfully ask the board to recognize the experience and qualifications of road commission staff. Their dedication, training, and certifications of employees should not be overlooked or dismissed. We take pride in serving the residents of Grand Traverse County and providing the board with knowledgeable professional support." So I am taking the opportunity to respond to Bernie Jacobson, who is an employee of the Grand Traverse County Road Commission and wrote a letter to us. He asked that we acknowledge it, and so I am going to acknowledge it publicly. Bernie goes on to say that he was upset and disappointed at some comments that said that the staff have zero experience with materials, and he goes on to list a very impressive list of accreditations and certifications and materials. And he says, and I want to read it, "I am only one example of the knowledgeable and experienced professionals employed by the Grand Traverse County Road Commission. Many members of our staff bring decades of technical expertise and practical experience to their work every day. One of Dan Watson's strengths as managing director is that he surrounds himself with knowledgeable employees and is not hesitant to seek input from those with technical expertise. He values the experience of his staff and understands that good decisions are made by listening to the people who perform the work, understand the materials, specifications, and construction practices." So I wanted to take a moment to recognize the experience and qualifications of our road commission staff and thank all of them for what they do for all of us.
Okay, further?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned.